Have you ever scrolled through social media and stumbled on posts complaining that women just aren't traditional anymore? Or maybe you've seen videos praising the idea of a perfect, old-fashioned wife who cooks, cleans, and always greets her husband with a warm smile. It's a trend that sparks debates, nostalgia, and, let's be honest, a lot of confusion. But what exactly is a traditional woman? Who gets to define that? And why does this idea keep popping up again and again, even in an age of career-driven goals, evolving gender roles, and TikTok algorithms? Today, we're unpacking the myth of the traditional woman, where it came from, what people think it means, and why this idea isn't as timeless or as universal as many claim. When we peel back the curated aesthetics and romantic storytelling, we find a history that's far more complicated, and a reality that challenges this nostalgic fantasy. So let's take a closer look at what's really going on behind this cultural obsession and what it reveals about the world we live in today. In online culture, the phrase traditional woman has become a brand. It's soft lighting, vintage dresses, homemaking tutorials, and long captions about femininity and domestic bliss. These influencers often claim that feminism lied, insisting women secretly want to return to simpler times. But here's the contradiction. They promote anti-modern values using modern tools, ring lights, monetized platforms, and brand sponsorships. It's a curated lifestyle, not historical reality. Most of this myth traces back to a very narrow moment in history, 1950s post-World War II America. Advertising companies pitched an ideal woman, smiling in a pristine kitchen, cooking roast beef while her breadwinning husband returns from work. Companies sold that image to sell appliances. But this wasn't universal womanhood. It was marketing, and it was temporary. Many women were fired from skilled wartime jobs when soldiers returned, despite loving the work. Women weren't naturally meant to be homemakers. They were pushed there by policy and propaganda. Even then, the 1950s housewife worked long hours. Anxiety and depression soared. Freedom and fulfillment weren't part of the picture. Before the 20th century, women worked constantly. They farmed, ran small businesses, wove textiles, managed estates, assisted in trades and medicine. They weren't tucked away. They were essential economic contributors. The notion that they peacefully tended homes while men did everything else simply isn't historically accurate. And here's something most tradwife content ignores: class and race. Throughout history, only wealthy women could stay home. Working-class women labored in factories or served wealthier households. Women of color did domestic work for others, often under coercive conditions. Tradition in this context was a privilege, not a universal experience. As society evolved, technology changed homes, education became accessible, and contraception offered choice. Women began shaping their own lives, and independence flourished. With every social shift, there's been backlash. When life feels chaotic, economically or socially, people romanticize the past. But nostalgia is selective. It edits out inequality and glorifies convenience. Social media algorithms amplify controversy. Posts accusing modern women of being ruined generate engagement. Controversy sells. The myth spreads. The myth spreads not because it's true, but because it's profitable. Reality check. Women have never been one thing. Across cultures and centuries, women have been scholars, healers, warriors, merchants, diplomats, and spiritual leaders. In ancient Egypt, women served as doctors and managed property. In the Kingdom of Kush, queens led armies. Many indigenous cultures valued women as political leaders and agricultural specialists. The idea that all women historically stayed home is a narrow Western fantasy. So why does this myth still appeal today? For one, modern life is exhausting. Constant pressure, economic instability, unrealistic beauty standards, burnout is real. The idea of quiet homemaking can look peaceful. Second, online communities offer belonging. They provide clear rules and validation. Third, the narrative is romantic. A strong provider husband, a serene domestic life. Who wouldn't enjoy the storybook version? But that fantasy leaves out the loss of autonomy, financial dependence, and limited personal development. It's important to clarify something. Feminism doesn't force women to choose careers. Feminism asks that women get to choose anything. If you truly love homemaking, perfect. If you want to be a surgeon, also perfect. Oppression happens when society pressures people into one strict box. The modern tradwife image tends to be highly selective. It highlights baking bread in a cottagecore dress, but leaves out the part where historical homemakers had chronic back pain from manual labor and spent hours hand-washing clothes. Today, many who promote this lifestyle rely on modern conveniences, sponsors, and passive income streams. What's traditional about affiliate links? There's also an economic reality at play. Supporting a household on one income today is extremely difficult. Housing, healthcare, education, and groceries cost more relative to wages than in the 1950s. Many families can't afford for one partner to stay home. Blaming women who work ignores structural issues. Often people talking about traditional women are really describing obedience, emotional labor, silence, and sexual availability. These aren't traditional feminine traits, they're control mechanisms. Healthy relationships require respect, communication, and shared responsibilities. Let's ground this in real stories. One friend once told me she tried being more traditional because people said men prefer it. She cooked elaborate meals, behaved politely, and dressed a certain way. But the moment she voiced her own opinions, she was called too modern. It didn't matter what she did, the goalposts moved. Because the demand wasn't about tradition, it was about compliance. Another friend genuinely adores homemaking. She gardens, bakes, and raises her kids at home, not to satisfy a man, but because she loves that lifestyle. It brings her joy. She's empowered because she chose it. The same behavior can be oppression or empowerment, depending on context, agency, and motivation. And yes, you can be both modern and traditional. You can love baking and also love your career. You can wear feminine dresses and still debate philosophy. You can have children, not have children, or adopt dogs instead. Womanhood has never been a one-size-fits-all identity. So what should we take away from all this? The traditional woman myth erases history, ignores diversity, and reduces women to stereotypes. Real womanhood has always been adaptable and diverse. We can honor aspects of tradition while embracing modern choice. We should start asking better questions. Who benefits from limiting women's choices? Why are we drawn to romanticize the past? What pressures are driving us to perform femininity for digital approval? If you're drawn to homemaking, pursue it wholeheartedly. If you want to build a career and travel the world, go for it. But don't let nostalgia or online trends define your worth. Identity is personal. Womanhood is expansive. Tradition should evolve, not imprison. You are not a myth, not an aesthetic, and not a marketing fantasy. You're a person with complexity, context, and the right to choose your own path.